Before we get into using breaks, Word has a few functions that are set by default or are able to be set to help control the flow of text on a document. It's helpful to know what these are. So if we have a look here, we've got 4 different options here that are in Word that can be controlled. Now the first one is our widow orphan control. Now what a widow is, a term for the widow is when a heading or one line only of a paragraph is down the bottom and the rest is split from it. So it just becomes one line, and that we call as a widow. It loses the context of or the flow of that sentence. An orphan is the opposite. It's when the last line is split over to the next line and it's on its own. So what happens is the Word function, and this is set by default, controls that at least 2 lines of the paragraph are together on the bottom of the line at least, or there's 2 lines on the top of the next or the following line. The next one we look at is keep with the next. Now what this does is it keeps a paragraph on the same page as the next paragraph. So we keep 2 paragraphs. So if there's a line break or page break that happens, it will move both of those paragraphs and keep them together on the next page. It's helpful particularly for keeping headings with following paragraphs. This one here is keep lines together. Now what this one does is it prevents a paragraph or bullet point from moving or breaking across a page. Now these 2 here, the keep with text, keep with next and the keep lines together, are not set by default. You have to actually go in and set those ones. And it's the same with this page break before one. So this one forces a paragraph to start at the top of the next page, and it's generally used to start sections of a document on a new page. And again, that can be set manually. Alright, so with that information in our mind, we're going to now make sure you have open Task 31 using page breaks page, and you'll see that we've got a 4-page or multi-page document here with headings, some graphs and multiple pages of text. Now what we're going to have a look at here is the simple page functions. Now as I said before, some of these are set by default and some are not. We're going to move down to the bottom of the first page here, and I want to just show you how this orphan widows one works. Now if we go to our top here, in our home one, in the paragraph, there's a little drop down box in the corner here that enables us to bring up a new window if I click it. Now this new window here has 2 options. It has indents and spacing as well as line and page breaks. And we're going to focus on this line and page breaks one here. Alright, as you can see, the widow orphan control one is already selected. So by default, it is always on. Now you can choose to turn it off if you wish. However, like we said, keeping those 2 lines at the top of a second page or at the bottom of the first page, it does help with the flow of reading. Okay, so let's have a look at that one. So I've got a paragraph here that is split onto the second page here, and what I'm going to do is actually take off a little bit of this text here to get rid of and just see what happens. So I'm actually going to be if I delete this here now, I'm going to be left with just one line here. So if I just delete that, you'll notice that I now actually have 2 lines here. Because what it does is it respaces everything to make sure that I've actually still got my 2 lines here. Now I'm just going to undo that one, so that's Control Z, and I'm going to go up and turn that widow orphans one off, and I'm going to do the same process with that. So with it turned off, actually let me just go before, I need to be clicked into the paragraph first, then go in here, turn that off and press OK. Now I'm going to delete that same amount of text that I did, and you'll see that it now has just got that last one line here on the second page. So and if that was a normal sentence finishing there, it loses a little bit of its context because you're not sure what's going on before it unless you scroll back up. So I'm just going to turn that one off and we'll leave that one there. Now, the next thing we're going to look at, if we have a look up at our paragraphs, lines and page break ones, is keep with next. Now this is a good one for keeping our headings with our paragraphs underneath that, the first paragraph in particular, and it is actually set by default to keep that together. So, but I'm going to show you how it can be used with something else. So I'm going to keep this paragraph here, my chart, and this paragraph here. I want them to be on the same page. So what I can do is I need to highlight what I want to keep together here. So I'm highlighting that first paragraph here. I've got the heading, I've got my chart, and I've got this paragraph here. Now if I go up to here, and you notice these are not selected, so if I go here, keep with next and select that one and OK, you'll notice that it's moved it from here because it couldn't fit everything on that page. It has actually moved this to the next page so that they are kept together. Sometimes that can be a really handy feature to have. Alright, the next one that we've got in our paragraph one is our keep lines together. Now whereas this one here talks about keeping paragraphs, this one is actually keeping our lines together. So how does that one work? Okay, I'm going to come to the bottom of a paragraph down here. Let me see. I'll go back up. I'll move that a little bit. Okay, so I've got this paragraph here, is quite a long one here, and I want to keep that one, that paragraph, on one line. So I'm going to select in that paragraph, and then I'm going to go up and I'm going to turn that one on and say keep the lines together. Now what this will do is, because this paragraph won't fit on this page here, it will move it to the next line. So as you can see, it moved it to the next line, and it also moved our three important heading here with it. Now the reason that is, when we set that style for the heading 1, it actually has been set in there to keep with, and if you have a look in here, you've got that it will keep with the next one automatically. And that's a handy feature to have so that you don't widow a heading on a line without its information underneath it. Okay, so that's those ones. Now the last feature of this one here is keep page break before. So what this one does is it enables you to be able to change or put a break before we want to do something. Now I'm going to put that here. I'm going to actually go to this heading here, and I'm going to put that one on this page here. Now to do that, there's a couple of ways I can do it. I can go back up to this paragraph, but I want to show you something for a start. You can actually put a page break before, okay, in here by going up to our layout option, going to our breaks, and we have a page break here, that option. Now this page break option we can use here, or there is a shortcut key for that. Now the shortcut key is Control and Enter. Now if you press Control and Enter, you'll notice that it goes on to the next page. And I just want to show you what's happened up here. If we go back to our Home option and go to our Paragraph Show Hide key here and turn that on, you can see that we've actually got a page break in there. And when we do that, I can actually select that and delete. Okay, I'm actually able to delete it and then undo that one there. Now I'm going to show you another way of doing this one, a little bit different. So I want to make sure that I've got a page break, and I want this one here, this whole paragraph or this information here, to go on a page of its own. So if I select here and I go in now and use this one here and say page break before and set that and OK, you'll see that it did exactly the same thing that the other page break did. Alright, but there is a difference. If I turn my show, as you can see my show hide is on already, it hasn't got a page break in here that I can actually go in and delete. So this is actually set it so that it's automatic. The only way I can turn that off is to select this again, go back into here and turn it off here, and that will then bring it back up onto its own one there. So can I get you to go back in for this activity and put the page break there and put that one on a line of its own. So now we've covered quite a few of the break features here, and you can see that this will help with the flow of text.